Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. It is always a privilege when someone comes to you and says, Corrine, in my case, could you make a project or card or something using my product? And that is exactly what happened to me with my lovely friend Michelle McCarthy from Paper by Michelle. Now, I don't know if you've seen this. This is a new brand. It's the lovely Michelle McCarthy, who I used to be on Crafters Companion with, and she now creates her own papers. I'm going to tell you more about the papers in the video, but I'm not into sort of my 3D project, so I made a card, really making those colours pop, and I've used the same piece of paper on 2 layers. I've then brought some flowers out to match the colours. I've got some twine down here using all the colours in the paper. This is so bright and cheerful. I stopped the video before I put a sentiment on. I've actually just put happy anniversary sentiment on it because I think it works really, really well. I hope you like it. I'm going to show you how to make this. What a privilege it was to be able to make this card. This is so exciting for me to be doing this project for you. It's a little bit different to anything I've done recently, but as you all know, I used to work with the lovely Michelle McCarthy, and we've both been following different pursuits in the craft industry for the past year. It's just past the year that we've been not working on our TV channels, and Michelle has taken this amazing route or career path, and she set up Paper by Michelle. It's this wonderful little company that she set up, and she's designing and producing her own papers. Now, she contacted me just a few days ago, probably a little bit longer, I've not been that quick, to say would I like to do a project with some of her papers. Now, I will link to her YouTube or Facebook or website. I'll find the right links, which is the best one for you, so you can go and see. So when she said would I like to do it, I said yes please, and all she asked me is what format did I want my paper in, because she does 8x8 paper pads, 6x6 paper pads, I think I've got this right, and then she does this one, which is the A4 sheets, and for every A4 sheet you get an 8x8 sheet and then 2 of these small little samples. And I thought I really love that idea, because I can imagine lots of lovely little projects with you to do this. I didn't pick the paper pad I wanted, but she did Where Country Gardens Bloom, which launched at the beginning of February, I believe. Now look at these images, aren't they amazing? She picked the right one for me. So she's done a lot more darker theme colours, all absolutely stunning, but it depends what you like. Now this is just, these colours and these images are just absolutely perfect for me. I love the watercolour effect. Look at this. This one might be my next one to work with, because I just love these flowers at the bottom with the birds on. Aren't they gorgeous? I love the sunburst. These are absolutely gorgeous. Now we've gone more into sort of the muted tones, and then we've gone back into these. And I'll show you. And this is the one that I'm going to be working with. Now, I'm not going to be using it as A4. I'm not going to be using it as 12x12. And I'm not going to be using the little ones. That's going away for another project. You know me, we don't waste anything. Now, this is one of the 8x8 sheets, and I've cut it down into 2 pieces. So this one's going to go on the top, and this one's going to go underneath. I know we're not going to see a lot of that one, but we're still going to get the right colours coming out from the sides. Now, Michelle does a lot of 3D projects with hers, and our lovely Jan, she's also done a project with these, and she did a gorgeous 3D project. I'm going to stick true to what I normally do, and I'm going to do a card project. So just to show you, I have cut this to 3 3/4 by 7.5. Now this is the full 8 inches, or just about. So to get this, so I've got 3 3/4 on here and 4 3/4. No, that's not, a bit less. So that one 3 3/4, and that one's about, I think it was about 4 1/4, as you can see on there, by the 8. So yeah, so I've got these different pieces, but it's all one image. Absolutely gorgeous. And we're going to put it onto a card. So I'm going to make my card base first, and then we'll bring it together. So I've got my card base. I'm just going to bring these in, and we'll write it on the screen, but just so you can see my card, excuse a bit of scrappy card, you can see I've cut something off it. It was a piece I just grabbed out the bin. 4 3/4 by 8 3/4. So 4 3/4 that way, 8 3/4 that way. That's annoying me, that piece of black. And this started off by a 10 by 7 card base that I've just trimmed down, and all the offcuts I will use. As I said, my topper is 3 3/4 by 7.5. There we go, you can see. So those are my measurements. I will put them on the screen, but there we are. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to pop this one on first. So let's pop that one on. Wet glue, dry glue, whichever glue works for you. I've popped a piece of pink on because you don't need to see me put every layer on. And we're going to pop that onto here. So I like wet glue. If you're new to my channel, you'll know I like doing wet glue when I do the papers because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I also like to do really slim borders. My borders are about 1/8 of an inch. Maybe a little bit over, but it's not even a full 1/4 of an inch. Look at that, isn't that absolutely good? Look at that sun coming through. Now, if I was to put that on there, it wouldn't work because obviously you've got the colours just merging into each other. But if I just pop this one onto a little bit of white with the slimmest border and then put it on, that's perfect because we've got that differentiation between the two lots. So let's put some more wet glue onto here. You can use whatever you want. If you prefer a finger lift tape, if you prefer a spray glue, you just use whichever works for you. As I say, this is a very, very slim border on this one. So it's going to work like that. Now this will work here because it's from the same image. You can see the image just works to there. So I know the colours are going to be perfect. And what I've done on the back of here is I've just popped a little bit of my sticks to 1.6mm foam tape. I don't want a big foam tape. I just want enough so that it looks lightly raised. I'm going to slightly change my glue. I'm just going to go for a regular PVA glue for this. And I'm just going to pop a little bit on here. Whatever glue you want. I mean, if you've got a glue stick handy, that works just so that your foam tape won't grab the minute it touches your card, because we want to know that we can move these around. And I'm just going to do that. I've got my finger underneath actually. So there we go. And we've got, now you see it's the same image that's been cut into. So we know it's going to work. We know the flowers are going to match. We know the colours are all going to work. So it just works really, really well. And by cutting a little bit off the top and the bottom, I've actually cut it, because look at this, those bits, that's pure fluke, are actually lining up. So I know it's going to work because everything is in the right place. Now what I wanted to do was I'm going to pop something on here. Years ago, I did a signature collection, and this was one of my signature collection pieces. You can see signature collection on there. But if you've got a frame, that would work. This was my frame. It cuts out, and when it cuts out, oops, if I can pick it up, like this. It's got the centre in. I didn't want to put this on to my card with the centre like that. Now that looks like you could actually make it quite spotlight. It would actually work really, really well. What I wanted was, oh, it's come out. I thought I stuck out. So what I wanted to do is I've taken it here. I put a few little bits, I don't know if I bring it up, you can see, of just low tack tape on there. And then when I pop it in, they're really tiny pieces, that will just catch across there. But that's quite thin. Well, it's not. It's a 350 GSM cardstock. But if I put my second one on, so turn that over and put my second one on, this is now we're going to go for our precision glue press. So what have we used so far? I've used my tacky glue. I've used a PVA glue. I've used a red foam tape. And now I'm using my precision glue press. There are so many glues about. They all have a different purpose. So it's just about using the one that works. Now, I love my precision glue press. It's full of tonic glue. Somebody was asking me recently about how do you fill it up. I just actually went onto Amazon and bought some more of these like little bottles of tonic glue. I thought it works. When you get your precision glue press, you get an empty bottle so that you can fill it up with another glue. So I could have filled it up with my tacky glue. I could have filled it up with my Sticks to PVA that I've got a massive bottle of. But I thought, do you know what? I know that the tonic glue is the right consistency to come out of this fine nozzle, because I have heard some people say that they've filled up the bottles and then it won't come out the nozzle, and that's because it's too thick. Now, by putting this onto here after I've put that backing on, I'll also be trapping it down. So I'm going to turn it over. That's a bit off. There we go. And it'll just fit into there. And because you can see now, we're getting to be a slightly thicker die cut. Now what you could do is you could go again and put another one on and just keep building it up and building it up, but we're not going to. We're just going to leave it like that. I'm going to grab some foam pad. I was looking for something quite thin. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put my foam pads sort of over there as well, just to help to catch it in. I know there's a slight height difference, but it won't matter with the foam pads. The foam pads will adjust and just work. So I know then that it's really holding one into the other. So you can just see the right places to be putting these, just so that it adds some support. I can then put a few down the centre, just like that. Now I thought, the next thing I thought was I could put this straight onto, oh, I know what I was going to do. I cut this piece out as well. Let's put this on as well. Again, I've cut it out twice. So let's just pop this on. I'll show you, there's another way you can stick this on as well. Let me see if I've got a little scrap of card there. What I could be doing here is grabbing a dotty tape pen, and I could go all over with my dotty tape pen. I've actually got my Sticks 2 sheets. I could be using those as well, but this one came to hand quickly. So this came with it. So basically when I designed this, it came like that, and lovely Lauren, who helped turn my drawings into pattern, said, well, we actually have to cut that piece of metal out. So if you don't use it, it just gets put in the bin by the manufacturers, but we get charged for it because this has to come out of a piece of metal. So we get charged for the whole thing. She said, why don't I take bits from your image, because I drew this bit, and I turn it into, we call them like an icon die, just an extra bit. You can use it with this or you don't have to, but that now fits perfectly onto there because I know it fits in there, but it adds that little bit of extra detail, which I really, really loved, and I thought it was a lovely thing for her to suggest to me. That's why we love these people when they help us. Okay, so I'm going to pop that onto there, and it's looking absolutely gorgeous. But I'm going to be adding some flowers because you know me, I love making flowers. So I thought I need to put this into the background. So what I've done is I've got a piece of vellum. I know these are beautiful papers, and I hope Michelle will forgive me for putting the vellum over, but I wanted the contrast. I wanted the stronger colour, and then I wanted the sort of misty colour, so that then when I put this over, I get that look. So I've got the strong colour at the top and all the way around. Then I've got the muted colours at the middle. Michelle knew me so well when she asked me to use this pad. So because that's there, that's going to be going about like that. So I've got down to about here. So I can just put my glue just here. I know it'll be hidden. And I'm also just going to put the smallest little bit just down there. Now I've cut this to exactly the same width, which was 3 3/4, and I think it was about 4 1/4 wide. Now you see, because it's patterned, you can't actually see my dotty tape pen down there, and actually once I spread that out, look, most of that's gone behind that vellum anyway, but you won't be able to see it. Isn't that looking stunning? This is quite a large card in height, so it would be a case of making your own envelope, but I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing that at all. I usually make boxes. You probably would want a box for this because you haven't seen what's going on it yet. It's going to be stunning. So yeah, I'd probably make a box, and you could quite easily make a box. You'd need a piece of A3 card, and you'd get a box made for this easily, because that is the width of A4. That was 8 1/4. I remember I didn't cut the ends off that pink. It was a piece I had in my scrap pile. I was quite lucky that I was able to get that out of that. Come on, these Sticks 2 backings are holding tonight. I don't know why. It's better. Some days I can just go around and whip them off, and then other days they don't want to come off. Now this, I can't, this topper is totally reversible, but this one isn't, so I like this bit at the bottom. So I'm going to pop this onto here, and I'm just going to put it the widest part of this where my vellum is, so that it will just cover up. There is the tiniest little bit of vellum, but I don't think anyone's going to see it, so it's almost like it's hidden the join. So I've got a smaller bit at the top and a larger bit at the bottom. So we need something to decorate it. Now I've got these beautiful flowers on here, so I think we need to make the most of that. So I thought I went back into my craft stash again, and I found these 2 dies. I'm going to move that out of the way there. These 2 dies, and again, they were from my signature collection. They were from my blush bells when I did a Fleurs collaboration. These are my blush bells. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? So really easy to use. I've got a piece of, this is actually paper. It's just a peach paper, really pretty. And I could pop those onto there and they will cut through this so easily. So I've got 2 of the large and 2 of the small. So let me just cut those through. And there you go. Look, that's what I've created. But what I've also created, let's put these on a mat so we can work on them. What I've also got is I've got some pink in the smaller, and I also cut out some pink in the larger. So you can see how I do these. Now there was some centres, and I got those out. I think they were a different one. So these were just like little starbursts, if I can find those. They look like that, look. But you could use any centres. Please don't feel like everything has to work from the same set. If you've got different sets, mix and match. I mean, the leaves that came with these are not the leaves that I'm going to be using today. I've just mixed and matched again to find some that I want. So all I do, roll round on the back, just getting some dimension, just like that. Then I turn it over and then I squidge it round like that. I'm going to get a centre. Could have done with one of the smaller ones, but I've used those up, the ones that I cut, flip it over, and then just go like that, little spidery legs. So I'm going to go in with my precision glue gun because I can control it. Now I have used 2 of the same size petal here. You could have used a large and a small, but you know what? I've been doing that recently, and I find it's a very personal thing. I'm not as keen on how it looks. I like my flowers to at least have 2 of the same size sets of petals. I don't know why, it's just a personal preference. So then I'm just going to hold that. It's got a little bit of glue on there, so we can just press and then it'll hold. So I'm going to pop a little tiny bit of glue in the centre of there. I found a stack of pearls. I have these little containers. You can see how old they are. The containers are rather grey now. This is from all my Create and Craft days, so it's a long time ago. And I've got a little white one. I looked at different colours, but I thought the white worked really well. Oops. Do you know what? I've got pickup tools, gem pickup tools, and I don't ever get them out. I forget about them. I always use my tweezers. There we go. Put that one in the middle. Let's go on with a peach one. So this is the larger one. So I'm just going to shape the petals again. Again, I'm still using 2 of the same size petals. I could have gone with the smaller one, and actually you could, if you wanted to, you could go with a pink and a peach. It's entirely up to you know. But Aunt Michelle's paper's so beautiful. I just so touched when she asked me to make a project. She knows I make cards more than 3D. I don't tend to make 3D, which is why I think she gave me this beautiful countryside collection, which I am absolutely loving. And you are going to see the papers in a few more projects, I'm sure, very soon. I try to spread them out, but they will definitely be back. Pop that one like that. Pop. There we go. And this one goes into there. Then we just get our ball tool and we press and we hold just for that minute. I'm not going to use those. I'll move that mat out of the way. There we go. I need to then just do a little blob of glue in there. Why don't we use the tools that we have? I give these pickup tools away as gifts and prizes, but then I forget to use them myself. There we go. Which reminds me, I need to do the draw from one of my recent... Well, that stuck to my finger. I shouldn't have put my finger in it, stuck to it. There we go. Just move it a little bit. There we are. Okay, so I've got a pink one and I've got a peach one. Oops. And I've got a larger pink one and a larger peach one. And then I've got a few more down here. There we go. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? Let's get rid of those pearls before I knock them. Otherwise I'll be picking up pearls for weeks. Right, aren't they absolutely gorgeous? And look at the colours. They are just perfect for this paper. Really, really pleased. Okay, the other thing I've done is I've cut some open leaves. You've seen me use this die so many times. I love the die, but I can't recommend it because it really doesn't cut very well. It takes me a long time to get those cut. But if you find it, that's fair enough. But yeah. And then the other thing is I've cut some green leaves because, again, I thought the green went really, really well with this. I've got some more leaves. I cut a load of the leaves out. And then the other thing I've done is I've just used my bow maker and I've tied a couple of bows. And I've picked colours that go with the paper. So I've got the blue from there. I've got the pink for my backing and I've got the green. Aren't those colours absolutely beautiful? And I think we need to stick those all on. Okay, so I've just made sure I've got 2 syringes full of glue. Well, they're not full. My 3D glue's just run out. It's a good job. I'm at the NEC this week, isn't it? So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take these bows, and I'm not going to use them as bows like that. I'm going to sort of fold them up and just use them more as loops. I've just decided I don't want those bits showing. So let's grab some scissors. I'm going to cut the ends off so that they are pure loops. Now, when I tie a bow like this out of string, before I take it out of my bow maker, I put a little bit of tacky glue onto the knot. And the little bit of tacky glue means that if I give that a pull, it stays tied up. It just means it's just that little bit easier when you come to work with it. Yeah, just makes life that little bit easier. All 3 of these, I've got a little blob of glue on the knot. Now I've made them all the same size. The blue's got 3 loops instead of 2, just the way it fell. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to pop a little bit of glue just sort of here. And the great thing about 3D glue is you've got room to move things around. So let's put the blue one on. Then we can come in with the green one. And then you can just move them around so that it's not quite as separated. And then I think I'll come in with the pink one. Now, think 3D glue like this. Now, I know some of my lovely subscribers in America say they find it harder to get. I remember now when I worked on Shopping TV, it was always, there was one of the things that the channel had difficulty with was shipping glue. There are issues around it. I'm sorry, I've just decided to move these around a little bit to try and flatten those knots out. But don't worry, we'll cover it all up in a minute. So I'm going to take one of the flowers. So if you just have a search for 3D glue, 3D or dimensional glue, you should be able to find it. I've actually just, what am I doing? Yeah, I'll go around like that, and then one like that. Let's just move those. And the great thing is the 3D glue, it's going to take at least half an hour for everything to sort of set. So you know you've got plenty of, I haven't put my leaves in. I'm going to do those in a minute, but I know I've got plenty of time to work on that. Let's come in on here. You see, I'm hiding everything that, all my workings, aren't I? So it's really quite handy. At the moment, I've not got a sentiment set up for this one. I'm not concerned. I would have this, save this, and then maybe put a sentiment on it when I'm ready to use it, rather than now. You don't have to have sentiments at the time of creating if you don't want. It perhaps gives you a little bit more freedom as to how you're going to be using them. Now, so all I'm going to do now is round this bottom bit. I'm not going to do it over the top because that's already got white on. I'm going to sort of pop in a few of these leaves. I do like that. Can I use one of the larger ones? Otherwise I'm going to have all larger ones left. Let's see if I can lift that up. Or I could get that in just like that. This is looking lovely, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. Right, now I'm going to go in with the green leaves. And my green leaves are a couple of different sizes. I have shaped a few just using my ball tool on my black mat. So, you know, just add in that dimension. Just works really well. Oh, run out of glue on that one. as I said, my it was all running out. We can go on this one. Just on there. Right, I think I need, my chunky fingers are struggling, so I'm going to get my tweezers. I love using tweezers when I'm building and making flowers and doing things like this. I just find it so much easier. We can then tuck. It's quite nice to sort of alternate between having the leaves sort of higher up and then hidden. Yeah, you just do it how you want. There is no right, there is no wrong way with these. There we go, look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now, I do think I need to just put the, it was just lifting, it was bending. I'm just going to put the tiniest little bits of dots there. I mean, look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now, I know, sacrilege, I've covered up a lot of the papers, but I think it works. I think those flowers are so pretty. I'm just putting the lid on my glue so it's tidy. Those pretty flowers are so pretty. They just make, it's got the depth, isn't it? You can see here, so you've got the flowers at the top. That's in one dimension. You've then got this layer is, look, because it's not muted, it's like your next layer. Then you've got your muted layer here, so it almost becomes a third level. And then you've got the papers at the back, which almost becomes a fourth level. So it's added so much dimension. Now, what I would probably, okay, I've just quickly found some. These aren't prepped or done or trimmed, but the sorts of things you could do. You could put a sentiment down here, just showing you what you could be doing. You could be putting a sentiment across there. I quite like that across there. That really works. I'd be layering this up with some pink behind it, I think. You could put some different layers on here. You know, you could do so much. You could have a sentiment coming out of the flowers if you wanted. But no, I like that. I quite like the beige one or the neutral one over the top there. Really, yeah, it definitely wants to go sort of there. I mean, it would look lovely there, especially if I'd laid it on the pink, but I'd lose too much of more of the flower. So I think I would go here. I think I'd matte and layer that onto some pink, and then I would put it just like that. What do you think? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Really, really pleased with that one. And thank you, Michelle, for sharing your papers with me. If you want to see more of Michelle's papers, if you want some for yourself, then have a look in the link in the description, and you'll be able to find all of Michelle's YouTube and her website and everything. So there you go, my friend. That is all I have got time for today. There will be plenty of links in the bottom. Please consider giving a thumbs up to this video. It really does help with my reach and my stretch. And of course, I have my Buy Me a Coffee page. It's always lovely when people give me product like this to use, but as you're aware, I still have quite a lot of product I need to buy now. I just work for myself, so anything that you can help is amazing. It really, really is. So I'm going to leave it there, and of course, as always, I will put a subscribe link over to the side. I would love you to subscribe. If you're new and you've not seen me before, please consider subscribing to my channel. My types of videos that I do are very different, and I hope you like what you see. So until next time, my crafty friends, you take care, enjoy your crafting, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.